I know that as we get into counseling processes, oftentimes we begin to do some of that deeper work. And I'd just love to hear, as you guys begin to engage with Pure Desire counselors, and they, were specifically, guiding you in this pathway, what were some of the insights or breakthroughs? And maybe that's individually, or maybe that is as a couple. Again, insights or breakthroughs. What did you guys get from your Pure Desire counseling process?
Well, the one thing I first wanted to say about what I loved about our experience with the Pure Desire counseling process was we chose the couples journey. And I believe that there's a few different options. Like I could have just gone on my own journey. Josh could have done his thing, but we decided to do the couples program. And the way that works is we each had our own counselor assigned to us. And we would meet as a group, but then we would break out separately. And one thing that I think was really powerful about that was that we each had an ally. We each had an advocate. And I have heard that it's possible in couples counseling when there's only one counselor, sometimes that counselor can kind of gravitate or team up with one spouse and the other one ends up feeling kind of ganged up on. And it created such a safe place for me and Josh both to know that we were going to show up to these group sessions and we were going to have a counselor who was on our side, who had our back. And then the counselors could work together in the background on issues that they knew had come up during our sessions. And once in a while, Josh would get put in the hot seat, and once in a while, I got put in the hot seat. But at the end of the day, there was someone there to kind of like give you that safe place to land after you'd been in the hot seat and process through that with you. And it felt very safe. So I wanted to start off with that.
That's what I appreciated most about the counseling, though, is actually doing my private session. And then my counselor would be like, okay, do you mind if I bring this up? I was like, oh, no, I know we should, but yeah, let's do it. And that was really productive, though, for me. So again, it was just around communication, right? Communicating, not expecting Avonlea to mind read. I think that's one of the things we discovered is I kind of just I expected her to know what to do or know what to say and things like that. And so that and unspoken resentment, just kind of because I didn't know how to communicate, I was just stuffing, right? Stuffing emotions and building resentment towards her. And so just being able to ask for what I need, tell her what I need, and those kind of things were very helpful. And my counselor was great at. It took a while for me to get there, but that's ultimately what the most beneficial thing for me was from that counseling. Yeah.
Yeah, that is so powerful when both spouses feel like they have an advocate in the room. They have someone that gets them, is there for them, and they're not kind of playing the whose side is the counselor on, and you guys are both against me, or now they're trying to win them over to your side. And I think also for me as the addicted spouse, it gave me a real comfort level knowing that my wife had someone that she really believed and felt was on her side, but that also when needed was going to be that truth speaker or was going to ask the hard question. Because I think sometimes as a spouse, we feel that like, man, I can see that there's a lot of anger here. And yes, I know I've caused it, but I also feel like some of it's not about me, that it's connected to your stuff. But I can't really be the one to bring that up because I am the betrayer. I'm the one that's caused the pain. And if as the one that caused the pain, I'm like, well, what about, as soon as I start to point the finger, it's just going to go downhill quickly. But I started to see how, her counselor can do that, and not in a way that's adversarial. My wife truly felt and believed that her counselor was there to help her. And so if she asked a hard question, my wife could receive it appropriately, not as an accusation, but as, hey, how might this help you see yourself or your anger through a different lens? And I got to kind of remove myself from that role of trying to figure out what she needed. And just like you were saying, Josh, just do my work, just talk to my counselor, get things out to him. And when needed, he would bring it into the couple time. And I think what you described was just a great reminder too of what my wife and I experienced. And I think the value of, if possible, particularly when you're walking through something like betrayal, whether it's over porn addiction or an affair, that for you both to have someone that cares about you, but is a truth speaker, and you feel like they're doing that with me, even while my spouse is having someone do that with them, and then their ability to come together and actually then have those conversations with both of you is so powerful. And I think is some of the genius of why Pure Desire's approach for 2 decades has been so effective.
I think the only thing that I would add is just how critical it is to be a team. And I love that even in this hard, painful, messy work of counseling and recovery, that somehow, almost sneakily, like sneaky Jesus, underneath the rug is you guys are becoming a team. Like you guys are doing deep, intense work with a goal and a vision. And you're doing your work, Josh, and you're doing your work, Heavenly, and you're bringing it together and you're molding and you're shaping something, regardless of how much you don't want to be doing that work. I get it. There's a lot of people who don't want to do that work. Like all along, you're becoming a team.
Well, and I think that's one of the early things that we heard in this journey was that your marriage can be better than it was before. That was a promise that we heard early on. And I think that's definitely the case.